Yo, this is Michael T. Porter. Welcome to Michael T. Porter Skits and Stories. I have another bomb story for y'all, but before I begin, y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping. Pass me around, Facebook, Instagram, and all other social media platforms, and y'all know how I feel about my chizzing. If you guys like to support the channel, Cash App, $Michael US. Also, check out my Spotify podcast, the 250 Gemstones Culture Podcast. Link is in the description. Y'all stay and watch the whole video. We need to talk. For those of you who are new, are new to this channel, or you're new to my Michael T. Porter music channel or my 250 Gemstones Culture channel, if you just new seeing this beautiful face, then I'm gonna give you some info, some background. My mama from Cali. I was raised in California, but my daddy's from New Orleans, the murder cap. Understand what I'm saying? They've been taking the crown down for quite some time now, right? So I used to go, itty bitty baby, used to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So I have two cultures inside. I'm in Dallas now. I got two cultures. So the cultures are very different. They're very, very similar. But today we're going to talk about, I got a story for y'all. A chilling story, New Orleans. The first time I heard somebody get killed. So before we get to that, little background information. New Orleans has been raggedy, tore up, in shambles for many long, I want to say 60s. The projects were built early 1900s and 1940s, 1930s. 1930s and 40s, the projects were built. So I want to say since the 60s, late 60s. New Orleans has been tore up for a long time, y'all. So the element of New Orleans is hot, is humid, mosquitoes, roaches, high grass, abandoned buildings. It's just a fucked up place. Oh yeah, baby, I love New Orleans. No, New Orleans is my second home, but it's messed up, y'all. Really messed up. So back in high school, we took a trip to New Orleans. So we took a trip, and I haven't seen my people in a long time. And I was living in Sacramento. So we went from Sacramento, we flew to New Orleans, summertime. We were having a ball, seeing my grandma in there, seeing my auntie and them, seeing all my cousins from the South. You understand what I'm saying? Eating all that gumbo, eating all that crawfish, etouffee, all that good food. Now the good food has been consistent. Good food and crime is very consistent in New Orleans. Very consistent. God damn. So coming in high school, coming from California, the way we do crimes is very sneaky, because the goal is to lock a nigga ass up out there in California. That's what I'm saying, the cultures are different. In New Orleans, do what you want. Nobody's coming to help you. Nobody is coming to help your ass. Nobody's coming. The police don't give a damn. The police ain't really gonna get involved unless they getting paid. Unless the city's really pushing for them to catch somebody, or if there's a hit, the criminals are paying a cop, they go pull this hit on somebody, you know what I mean? Or, get involved so we don't go behind the wall. You understand what I'm saying? We pay the police officer, hey, set this dude up. We're going to give you, $2,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 on his head, $50K. $50K go a long way in New Orleans. But the police ain't really trying to lock up nobody. That's why the genocide was so high. And I'm gonna tap into that. I'm gonna tap into why New Orleans is so violent, especially back 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I'm gonna tap into why, because they don't give a damn. They want it to happen. Whereas in California, they want it to happen too, but they trying to make some money off a nigga ass before he check out. Pelican Bay, San Quentin, Folsom, all the county jails, big money, bond, big money. You got to pay to get your ass out of jail. So seeing the cultures was very different. It's wild. Like I said, nobody's coming. So we out there in New Orleans, went to Six Flags. We having a great time. Good food, having a great time. It was hot though. But on the second day, my peoples, we went over. I played a lot of basketball back then. I love basketball. Still love basketball to this day. Love basketball. So my people, they hoop too. Like, hey man, when my grandmama stay uptown, I said, hey, let's go to this park. and let's play some basketball, because that's what we do in California. Let's go play some basketball. He said, he looked at me, he said, boy, bullets be flying back there, whoa. Bullets be flying. I said, okay. So time went on, we got something to drink. That's when the Winn-Dixie was up. We went to the Winn-Dixie and got something to drink, and I was like, okay, that park is dangerous. It's still in the daytime. It's around, I want to say, between 12 and 3. When I was trying to suggest places we can go play basketball, because uptown New Orleans, third ward, we're surrounded by 3 major projects at the time: Calio, Magnolia, and the Melpomene. Oh yeah, trouble, trouble, trouble. And a lot of people talk about the projects, but what people don't talk about is all the neighborhoods surrounding the projects are just as bad as the fucking projects. I'm about to expose you, New Orleans. Love y'all. And so I said, there's another part, because we had to go get this game system. So there was a game system that my people wanted to get near the Melpomene off of Felicity Street. So it was all in the cut. New Orleans is a big city, but it's small at the same time. It's big in the sense there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of churches, a lot of project buildings, a lot of downtown buildings, lots of homes. You could tell at one time it was a thriving city. New Orleans was a thriving city. Hundreds and thousands of homes. If you ever go out there, a lot of shotgun homes. They don't have many apartment complexes like the other major cities like Dallas, Sacramento, New York, but they have a lot of homes. A lot of people rent homes, projects, where they go on the outskirts of New Orleans for residential, for the apartment. Most of the apartments on the outskirts of New Orleans, Metairie, places like that. So we were near the Melpomene. I was like, what about over there? Because it looked cool, like, you know, one of the very few places in New Orleans that look cool. So I was like, just play over there. The man, bullets be flying over there. So I wanted to test this niggas, because I suggested 2 places already. And I said, if this nigga say all 3 of these places ain't no good, I was like, we in trouble. So time went on, we got the game system, we headed back to my grandmama's house uptown. And I was like, there's another part. And I was like, okay, ain't nobody over there. We can go ball for a little bit. I want to play some goddamn basketball. I want to play some damn basketball. I said, now there ain't nobody over here. There's this little old lady over there. How about we play over there? He said, bullets be flying, bro. I said, God damn. We're boxed in. Magnolia, Calio, Melpomene, all the surrounding area, we boxed in. This is one ward. We got 17 wards just as fucked up as the one before. Oh yeah, exposed. You can't go nowhere. So, and we was only out there for, we was out there for 2 weeks. By the second week, you can feel it. Now, I forgot this part. When we first landed, you can feel it when you're in New Orleans. If it's just your very first time in New Orleans, you go into the hood. I'm not talking about the French Quarter. I ain't talking about going on the festivals, the jazz fest, and all the wonderful events where all the tourists go. Those places are very elegant. New Orleans has some beautiful hotels downtown off of Canal Street. I'm talking about once you leave, because the nice areas in New Orleans are very small. Outside the French Quarters, like I said, once you go on the ferry rides and the aquarium, all that's downtown. Once you get out of downtown, you it's hell on earth. You got the now all these project buildings have been torn down now, but back then you had the Iberville, you had the Lafitte, you had the Saint Bernard, you had the St. Thomas, Calio, Magnolia, Melpomene, Desire, Florida. Once you get out of downtown New Orleans, it's fucked up. And there's a term in New Orleans, this bitch. This bitch refers to a woman, a scary man, or a messed up place. You can have this bitch. They're talking about a scary place. No, not a scary place. They're talking about a messed up place. This place is messed up. We thugged it out in this bitch. It's a bitch, meaning this is a terrible place. Poor plumbing, electricity, people surviving off. See what C Murder was talking about? Yeah. Surviving on red beans and rice. It's real. As soon as you get out the nice areas, it's toe up. So by the second week, no, I'm sorry. When we got off the plane, you can feel it. The humidity. So we're coming from California, it's real dry, especially in Sacramento. Coming from Sacramento, it's extremely dry, and coming down to New Orleans when you can just feel it. Not just the humidity, you can feel the depression. You can feel, you can just look at the scenery. Something's not right with this place. This is my first impression of New Orleans because, like I said, I used to go back and forth when I was small, but there was a huge time, about 7 years, I haven't been to New Orleans. So it's been 7 years since I seen my people. And no, it's about 8 years, almost 10 years since I've seen New Orleans. So we're in high school, and I'm like, damn, this place is messed up. People, it was a cultural shock because coming from Sacramento, we're really diverse. Polynesians, Mexicans, blacks, whites, everybody doing their thing. An all black city. You see black people hanging out on the corners, crackheads. I never seen an all black city before. I've never seen, at that point in time, I'd never been to an all black city. It was real. Crackheads hanging out, and because when we came to my grandmother's house, it was nighttime, so it was dark. It was humid, and I remember all the project buildings. It was hundreds and hundreds of old raggedy brick buildings. All the streets had potholes. You can just look into, this is a messed up place. Going back to what I'm talking about earlier, the high grass and all of that. So it was a cultural shock. So fast forward, we're in the second week, and by the second week, you begin to see why New Orleans is the murder capital. You get a little piece of it. You get to, remember I tell you how we felt the depression, you can feel the pain, you can feel the pain, you can feel it when you get off when you first hit New Orleans. You can feel it. See, I didn't know in the summertime is when most of the murders happen. It's called murking season. It's a season when niggas do the most. Because I know this because a few years later, after high school, I moved back to New Orleans. So like I said, I've always been going back to New Orleans. So murking season, dudes are getting murked. So on the second week, I began to really notice the news. The news, I want to say, no exaggeration, I want to say every 12 hours, somebody was getting killed. Every 12 hours, somebody was getting killed in New Orleans. All on the news. Breaking news: 3 young black males were gunned down on South Rocheblase Street, and over 21 rounds were used. Every night, every so many hours, you'll see the yellow tape and dudes laid out in the street, and they have all the bullet shells. You know how they number them? Another 12 hours, young black male was gunned down on South Claiborne and such. 2 males were gunned down on St. Roch and such. 3 males were gunned down. One's in critical condition on St. Claude in Louisa. I said, God damn, it's real. The news, you kept seeing bodies on the TV. They wasn't playing. So as the second week, no, I want to say they were there for 3 weeks, because the second week, I think it's 2.5 weeks. So like I said, by the beginning of the second week, you really begin to see where you were really at. After all the festivals and all the good food, now you get to see the other side of New Orleans, gruesome. So we went out to eat. So that the particular night, when all went down, we all went out to eat. We went up to the buffet. We used to eat a lot back then. Buffet. I don't eat now, all that stuff now. I'm a vegetarian. But we used to eat a lot of buffets. King's Buffet. Just name it, we was eating it. Any buffets out there, the Chinese food was good. So went out to eat. My grandmother, she went and got ready for bed. I want to say it's about 10. I want to say my grandma used to go to bed around 10, no later than 11:30. So my grandma's in bed, and me and my sister, she said, yeah, baby, y'all can go watch the TV. Just make sure you turn it off before you go to sleep. So we had the house to ourselves. So grandma's in the back, and me and my sister watching the TV. So I want to say it's about 10. I think my grandmother officially went to bed about around 11:30, because it's kind of late. We had a long day. So around 10 o'clock. So at 10 o'clock, my grandmother's in the bed. Me and my sister's in the living room. We all showered up. We just chilling, and my mom called us to check on us. See, it's 8 o'clock in Cali. It's 10 o'clock in New Orleans. So a little bit, it's still fairly early in Sacramento. So we're talking to my mom. Oh yeah, mom, we having a good time. Good time. And my sister. And I'm about to, as I was talking to my mom, she's like, where your sister at? And I was like, oh, she right here. So as I was giving my sister the phone, I say, sis, mom's on the phone. And my sister ran to the phone. And as she was reaching to get the phone, she was like this. And she grabbed the phone and she said, hey, mom. I said, we hit the flow, my nigga. We hit the flow. It sounded just, I don't know if that boy was hit with a chopper. They hit that boy so many times. It sounded just like that. It sounded so loud. It was right by my grandma's house. That was the first time I heard somebody get murdered. It sounded like he was shooting that boy for about at least a minute. I know it was a lot shorter, but the intensity and what was made it so creepy, y'all, it was just a dark energy right before it got real quiet. I don't know what it is. Before something bad happened, it was like the calm before the storm got real quiet. So we were talking to my mom. Like I said, my grandma, she in bed, she getting rested up. She's resting up, and we're talking to my mom in the living room. But it was just so quiet. It's like, now going back looking at it, it was like I said, the calm before the storm. It was just quiet in the neighborhood. I mean, just quiet. Now, a lot of reasons for that too. When I went back to New Orleans, they tell people to get off the block. They orchestrate these hits. They say, hey, make sure the kids are in. We about to get old boy. We about to set them up. So that could be it too. Sometimes, but most of the time, they want to get you. They're gonna get you. So, like I said, they were hitting that boy, and it sounded fast, but it sounded slow. It was like, I was like, damn. It was. Remember, I said it's quiet, so it's what made the gunshot sound. So it felt like the house was being vibrated by the sound. It had to have been something. It had to have been a chopper. It had to have been an AK. By the streets being so quiet, the sound of the gun, how loud it was, that echoed across the neighborhood. It just bouncing off all the homes and trash cans. Like, it was just so quiet because there's nothing to push back on the sound. So with each shot, it sounded like thunder. It literally sounded like thunder. It sounded like thunder. I was like, damn. They were making sure that boy was gone. I can only imagine what the forensic had to see, because it didn't just stop there. How many times they hit this boy? It just didn't stop there. How many times they hit this boy? The next morning, he was on the news. Everybody in my because near my grandma's house, everybody was talking about how they did it. Word on the street, it was an OG nigga that hit that boy up. That's how they used to do it back in the. Well, they're still doing it, but they said that was an OG nigga that did it, because the boy that got killed, he had killed his cousin 2 months earlier. It was a retaliation. And when I say retaliation, that was retaliation for your ass. I mean, it was horrific. I didn't see it, but just knowing that a human being's soul just left their body, you can feel it. I know it's kind of hard to explain it by it being so close, knowing what just happened. Even though you didn't see it, you know, just by you knowing and hearing, you can probably envision what happens. Probably gruesome, but just knowing that somebody's soul just left their body. And the most gruesome, another human being took their soul from their body. They're no longer breathing, no oxygen, no nothing. Somebody got him up out of here. And it came to the realization for me how vulnerable we are as human beings. When somebody hit you up like that, how aggressive, how merciless with each shot. Do. Probably if it was a chopper, probably after this 5th or 6th shot, he was done. They hit that boy 17, I think it was 17 times. With a chopper, with an AK, they hit him 17 times. Just didn't stop there. Soul leaving his body. You can hear it, knowing what happened to another human being. Dude just sped off. The next day, he was on the news. They say he was hit 17 times. And they said that His dreads, he was a dreadhead, were found on the other side of the street. They hit him so, the way they hit him, his dreads were on the other side of the street. I can only imagine what the forensics had to see. They had to scoop him up. He ain't nothing but blood and bones. And a little bit of skin. Think about that. His dreads were across the, when they pulled up on him, they must have hit his head first and then all up on his body, stood over him, hopped out the car. I'm trying to envision, not so much because it's gruesome, but this is how it is in New Orleans. They found his dreads on the other side of this, meaning the part of his skull was on the other side of the street. I believe it. You can hear it, you can feel it. Found his dreads on the other side. I said, damn. What was crazy, wasn't even crazier than that, was even more crazier than that. I ran, so when they were shooting, so rewind a little bit, when they were shooting, me and my sister hit the floor. Man, I told y'all we hit the floor. Do. My grandmother was in the back. My grandmother was in the back. She was used to it. We said, Grandma, did you hear that? We used to gunshots in Cali, but like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, maybe because we're in a different element. It was just, you actually get up on it. When you actually on it, you in the murder capital, you just surrounded by it. It's hard for you to breathe. You can't escape it. My Jeezy said, oh yeah, baby, you hear them shooting all the time. All you gotta do is go on that back porch back there, and you can hear them shooting all the time. Because where my grandma's house is, it faces the Calio project. On the west side faces the Magnolia, and diagonal is the Melphamine. So you got the Calio busing, you got the Melphamine busing, the Magnolia busing, all surrounding residential areas. She said, go on my back porch, and you can hear them niggas shooting all the damn time. If y'all from New Orleans, y'all know what I'm talking about. If you ain't from New Orleans, you never been. I'm not trying to discourage you from going. Just like anywhere else, be careful. But that was my first experience hearing somebody get murdered. Gruesome. But y'all let me know. What y'all think? What y'all think? Have y'all ever experienced something like this before? Get low. Be aware of your surroundings, baby. 250, capital G. Michael Skisson Stories. I'm gone.